So I found another anti-Islamic YouTube channel, and they make some animated shorts of mocking Islam. So I just want to talk about the assassination of Abu Afak. Now, I first heard this argument that the Prophet Muhammad killed a old man simply for making fun of him. I first heard this argument. When did I hear this? I first heard this argument back in like back I think 16, 15 years ago, where I think Answering Islam, yeah, that's right. Answering Islam was saying that the Prophet Muhammad killed a old man simply for writing poems against him. And the source, of course, was the infamous Ibn Ishaq. So back then, I didn't know anything about hadith sciences and all that because this was over 15 years ago. So a lot of critics of Islam bring this up, the Abu Afaq argument. And I remember reading Robert Spencer's book, The Truth About Muhammad, where Robert Spencer basically says the same thing, that the Prophet Muhammad killed an old man simply for making fun of him or for writing poems against him. So I have Ibn Ishaq's book. So I got the book many years ago, and if you pay attention to the sources that critic cites, he cites Ibn Ishaq and Ibn Sa'd. So what about these sources? Are these sources reliable? No, they aren't, because you don't even have to go to external sources to refute Ibn Ishaq. If you read the beginning of this book, there are many early Muslim scholars who said that Ibn Ishaq was careless in compiling his information. In other words, Ibn Ishaq was writing down anything he heard from anybody. He wasn't doing any kind of fact-checking. So, of course, people would make up stories about the Prophet Muhammad after the Prophet Muhammad died, like him killing an old man simply for making fun of him. Why they would make up these stories? Political reasons, sectarian reasons, just to make the Prophet Muhammad look bad. Like you name the reason, they probably made it up for that reason. So I got the book, Ibn Ishaq's book, The Life of Muhammad. If you read the beginning of the book, one second here. If you read like page 36, explain. It says, the opinions of Muslim critics on Ibn Ishaq's trustworthiness received a special paragraph. It says, Ibn Ishaq. No, wait, I'm trying to find the exact page where it talks about his reputation. Oh, okay, here we go. It says that Imam Malik mentioned Ibn Ishaq. He said he is one of the Antichrist. When Hisham bin Arwa was told that Ibn Ishaq reported something from Fatima, I said, that rascal lies. When did he see my wife? So Ahmad ibn Hanbal said that his son admitted that Ahmad ibn Hanbal incorporated many of Ibn Ishaq's traditions as musnad, but he never paid heed to them. So you get my point. And another point is, another early Muslim scholar said that Abdullah bin Nuair said that when Ibn Ishaq reported what he heard from well-known persons, his traditions were good and true, but he sometimes reported worthless sayings from unknown people. Yahya bin Qattan would never quote from him. So basically, you get my point that in the beginning of this book, there's scholars who say why Ibn Ishaq is not reliable. So when you go to the Abu Afaq story in Ibn Ishaq, there's no chain of transmission, or there's no narrators in that story. So what that means is that Ibn Ishaq was writing down a story which the source of the story is unknown. So that means that the source is probably fabricated, or it's a lie to begin with. So I think that the story is fabricated to begin with, because we don't find the story in Bukhari, Muslim, Abu Dawud, the trusted hadith sources. Same problem with Ibn Sa'd. If you look at Ibn Sa'd, he quotes the same Abu Afaq story, but he doesn't give any the source or the chain of transmission or chain of narrators, there are a few liars, or there are a few untrustworthy people in the chain of transmission or the source for that story. So that means that entire story is false. So these critics always say the Prophet Muhammad killed an innocent old man, simply for making fun of him. This is false, because if you read Ibn Ishaq, you don't even have to go to external contradiction. You don't have to go to external sources, right? If you read this book, if you read the beginning, we can see that Ibn Ishaq was reporting anything he heard from anybody without doing any kind of serious fact checking. So that means a lot of the stories in here are like that. They don't have chain of transmissions or isnads or chain of transmissions or sources for their stories. So that means we can dismiss the stories as either fabrications or flat out lies or falsehood. So beware of Ibn Ishaq, and beware of these critics when they cite him, because they're usually very dishonest when they cite Ibn Ishaq. Like Robert Spencer cites Ibn Ishaq left and right in his book, but doesn't in his book Truth About Muhammad and his other bullshit works, but he doesn't do any kind of fact checking. So I've repeated the same thing over and over and over again, that Ibn Ishaq is generally not reliable. I've repeated this at least 500 fucking times, yet the critics do not get it. So basically, this story of Abu Afak being killed for simply mocking the Prophet Muhammad is false, and we know this because there's no source for his story. Stay tuned, more videos coming up ahead.